any college football season. Ranked team against unranked opponent, and we'll see if the upset can shake up the rankings in this one. Welcome to Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, home to the TCU Horned Frogs. As we'll see a squad from the Big 12, the Houston Cougars, taking on one of the participants from last year's playoff, the TCU Horned Frogs. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth by David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. And guys, let's get this thing started. And the Horned Frogs will get us started with the opening kickoff. Let's see what he can do with the return. Excellent job by the kick coverage team. A pretty minimal gain on that return. So the Houston Cougars offense will have the football first. This wide receiver matchup is one that we've been waiting to see. You have two guys on either side, Jesse, who are really going to make the secondaries nervous.
Oh, they should, because these guys can take the top off of defense. You've got two very dynamic individuals playing on each offense, and I'm playing quarterback in this game for either team. I am going to take my shots and give my guy an opportunity, because both of these guys, David, have proven they can make circus-level catches.
I mean, when they're not open, they're open. I mean, they can make the...
And the quarterback caught up to and sacked at the 12.
Come into the game, the defense talked about, man, they really wanted to get to this quarterback. Well, it didn't take long. 2 plays in, they get to him, and they get the sack.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, try to convert through the air. Snagged in the middle, it's Teray. And he's knocked down, but there's also a flag that's been dropped. Let's check on the call. That penalty cost him a 3rd down conversion, and now they'll have to try it from a little farther away. On 3rd and long, a check down will be the last resort. Didn't have much room to run and not a whole lot of help. Short gain there and still plenty of ground to cover for the 1st down. Punt is on its way. Excellent coverage that time. Didn't give him any room to set up a big return. The Horned Frogs offense will go to work for the first time today. Wants to throw on 1st down. Unloads to the wideout. Just a Barishnikov-like move on the sideline to tap that toe and get the 1st down. Looking to throw on 1st down. Caught over the middle. It's Terrell. And they wrap him up, but not before he gets enough on the catch for the 1st down. The Horned Frogs have moved it inside the 20. Looking to throw on 1st down. Grabbed over the middle. It's Terrell. That completion will take them inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. The give on the inside. He has kept those big, powerful thighs churning, but he'll be knocked down at the 1. And the Horned Frogs have it with a 1st and goal. Pushes ahead. And he takes it in for the score. Touchdown, Horned Frogs! Precision blocking up front created the open lane, and the running back followed it beautifully.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to follow an offensive line that makes those holes and just gives you a caravan all the way to the end zone. What an unbelievable job blocking up front.
Setting up for the extra point after the 1st score of the game. And the extra point is good, and it's 7-0. A very efficient 5-play scoring drive. They're set to kick it off. You think this crowd's going to get loud when their defense comes on the field? And he's coming out of the end zone. pulled down at the 18, and the decision to bring it out of the end zone was not a good one. Here comes the Houston offense once again. They went 3 and out on their first possession, now to see if they can be more productive this time around. He's going to lose a yard on that one. Didn't get much done on that first play of the drive. It's 2nd and 11. From the gun, they'll try to impose their will. That is a big win for this defense, as they were right there as soon as he got the ball.
And I like the defense being aggressive. They heated up that RPO. He didn't even give him time to read it. I'm getting in the backfield right now, making a play, being aggressive, bringing the fight to the offense.
Trying to move the sticks on 3rd down through the air. And that'll be incomplete. They certainly weren't afraid to take a shot there, and now it's 4th down. Houston will be forced to punt. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. Now a fair catch is called for and made just shy of midfield. TCU will send its offense back onto the field. Already a solid start to this one. Now back to work with this 7-0 lead. Makes a connection. Good, solid pickup there. Now they can start to smell it with a 1st down at the 31.
Offenses love the explosive plays through the air, pushing the ball down the field. And look at this. Sometimes it creates some momentum, and you want to capitalize. So you go get on the ball and get ready to run some no-hope. And that would be the definition of 1st down success. Putting yourself in a good position. It's 2nd and inches. I can do whatever I want next. I can take a shot down the field. I can run the football and get a new set of downs. Like, nice 1st down execution.
Rides the back on the option. The give. They bring him down, but not before he's able to pick up the 1st down. The Horned Frogs come to the line with a fresh set of downs. They're looking to pass from the red zone. And he was hit just as he released it, and it falls to the turf. Try to make up for some of that lost ground on 2nd down. The play action fake. He's got the tight end. And he'll step across the sidelines after making a good gain on that one. Third and long, and he'll try to throw for it. And it's incomplete, but the penalty flag has fallen in the holding zone. Let's see what the call is.
Hold.
They'll decline the penalty here and let the result of that play stand. And on 4th down, they'll try to salvage the drive with a field goal. Just drives it between the uprights. And now the lead is extended a little further. Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
Gentlemen, want to jump in and let you know what's going on in this top 25 showdown. Florida State has the lead at this time, but there haven't been quite as many tomahawk chops today as we expected. This is close. They're up by 7 over Arkansas. Implications galore inside the SEC, and we'll circle back if anything big should happen.
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. Slings it downfield. Zips it out to his man. That one could really put this drive into high gear as they have a 1st down at the 37. The give to the back. Makes a stop in the backfield. He'll lose 4. The Cougars with a long way to go after the loss on the last play. 2nd down, he'll throw it. That's caught. It's Waddle. And the defense had that one well covered. Just a short gain there. It'll be 3rd and long. He wants to throw it. Trying to set up the screen. He'll be stopped right at the 43-yard line. It'll be 4th down. Now to see if they want to spin that wheel of fortune. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Houston sends the punt team onto the field. Everybody stays in their lanes well enough, and they stop him at the 31-yard line. Opening snap of this drive comes from the 31-yard line. They'll try to pop the draw. Just sort of a relentless run, getting everything that was available to him, and they'll mark him down at the 40. They'll give it to the back. And he never had a chance. Just stopped cold as soon as he got it.
Third down coming up.
We've reached the break, and TCU is holding the lead. They came out and jumped on them early in the first. Let's take a break and look at the first quarter stats. Just about ready to get things started here in the second. We'll see if they continue to flex that muscle. So they go back to work after the break, and it is third down. They'll try to get it through the air. Going to try to pop one on the screen. No, sirree, not this time. The defense was there and ready for that one. And the Horned Frogs will punt this one away. The punter going to get his first work of the afternoon. Fields the punt and tries to help improve that field position. They'll put that return to a stop at the 33, but the offense set up in pretty good field position. Wide receiver going in motion. A quick pass to the left. And he was able to run through one tackle, but still only a modest gain. Behind the chains now on second and long. They're going to run it to the right. They can rely on this guy to pick up solid yardage when they need it, and he's out to the 43. Quick touch pass to the receiver. Oh, he's got some space. Touchdown, Cougars. Once he got a step, it was all over, right to the house. When that receiver got free, it was all over.
And it's so nice to have a receiver like this as a quarterback because you pad my stats. I like those long touchdown passes where I just threw it really short and he did the rest of the work.
And with the extra point, the lead is cut to 3. It's 10-7. The kickoff unit is out there, and boy, did that last drive quiet this crowd. On the run from inside his own 5. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. TCU has it back, and the Horned Frogs go on offense. Complete to start this drive. And a good job in coverage there as they stop it after just a few. Here comes the offense on second down. Trying play action. Fires to the wideout. Got his man on the right. And he'll get it up to the 38. It'll be a first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Looking downfield on first down. Pass is incomplete, and by this stage of his career, you'd think a junior quarterback might take a little better care of the football. Off the bootleg, wants to throw it. Intercepted. Looking for more room. And he's wrapped up after a solid return on the pick.
And that's such a great job of seeing the play, seeing it unfold, breaking on the football, making the interception, and you will absolutely never forget getting that first career INT, that big play, that big moment.
The Houston offense comes onto the field. Last drive went for 6. We'll see if they can do it again. From the gun, they'll try to impose their running game. Knocked down at the 25-yard line. Picked up 10 there and gets a first down.
And that's good enough for a first down.
Wants to go up top on first down. Makes the grab. The ball is down at the 14 after that grab. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Inside the 15, first and 10 from the 14. Got enough space. It's a fumble on the play.
Great job by this defense, not getting down, not quitting. They gave up some yards. The offense got in the red zone, but the most important part of the field, they came up big, forced the fumble, and get the touchback.
TCU will send its offense back onto the field. Last drive ended with a pick. Vitally important to take care of the football this time. Off the play fake on first down. And they get to the quarterback and knock him down back at the 16.
Oftentimes with play action, you're asking the quarterback to hold on to the ball a bit longer, and you're asking this offensive line to hold up and pass pro a bit longer. Against this athletic front seven on defense, it's going to be tough.
The Horned Frogs have put themselves in dire straits after that last play. It's 2nd and a mile. Wants to go up top. They'll run the screen. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the play. Let's see if it stands.
Illegal blocking.
A solid gain on that one, and it goes for naught as the penalty will back them up. 2nd down, they'll go to the air. Wide open downfield. They finally get him on the ground, but he's got an explosive play for the first down. The defense going to stop the clock with a timeout. They want to make sure they have everybody on the same page. Lining up from the 34 on first down. Gets the back moving. To the air on first down. Got the quick pass. And the defense stops him just short of the first down. Maybe needed a few more chain links to move the sticks.
Second down.
Off play action. He is stopped behind the line of scrimmage. They'll lose yards on that one. And the Horned Frogs come to the line on 3rd and short, looking to keep this drive moving. They'll try to pick it up on the ground. That'll be enough for the first down, and they'll mark it at the 48. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Looks as if the defense was a little too eager there, got into the neutral zone, and that'll be a 5-yard penalty.
Encroachment defense.
Defense just a little too eager, and that's 5 yards for the O. He'll pull it on the read. Gets the first himself. All down, but he has enough to move the chains. The Horned Frogs kept this drive moving on the ground, now back to work. Wants to throw on first down. Throws toward the end zone. Oh, he had it. The deep ball was there, and it just trickled through his fingers. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. What will they dial up on 2nd and a long way to go? Misfired on the last play. They'll go back to the air. And that's not the way they drew it up. It's incomplete. This drive was clicking along, but after a couple of misfires, threatening to stall out on 3rd and 10. From the gun, wants to pass. And it was worth the gamble, but the long pass is incomplete. And on 4th down, they'll try to put 3 on the board. And after finishing off one drive with a field goal, they'll try it again this time. Oh, it's blocked! Defense has it!
And man, did you see that defender climb the ladder? How high did he jump to block that field goal? That was amazing.
They've got a little time here to put together a productive drive late in the half. First play of the drive, wants to throw. Got it set up on the outside. He gets it up to the 44-yard line. He'll be marked out of bounds right there as this offense continues to roll. Down to 2 minutes to play. We'll take the timeout. They'll talk it over. A chance to tie or even take the lead before the break. And the Cougars in a good spot here with 2nd and short. Under fire. Blasted as he lets it go. third and short from the 44, and we might know if they plan to go for it on fourth down by what they call here. From the gun, wants to pass. That's reeled in. It's Waddle. And boy, is he close to that first down, maybe just a couple of inches short. Timeout is called, and it's the defense wanting to make sure that everyone's on the same page for this big down. And the returner will be knocked down. Looking to throw on first down. Going deep. Almost intercepted. It'll fall incomplete. The defense almost came up with a turnover. On second down, he'll try to make the connection. And down goes the quarterback. There are penalty flags down, but it looks as if this might be on the offense. So the penalty will not be enforced. The defense declines and stands on the result of the play. On third and long, he's going to have to turn one loose downfield. Breaks into the open. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see what the call is. Just when they thought they had the big play, the penalty wipes it out. On third and long, doesn't need to take the check down. Fires to the tight end. This defense happy with how that last play turned out, so they'll decline the penalty. And the Horned Frogs send out the punt unit. This will be the second time they've had to kick it away. Not going to risk a return here. He'll make the fair catch. On the option. He'll toss it. And that one will go in reverse. The defense all over that pitch on the option. Second down, they'll go to the air. Strong pass rush gets to the quarterback, and they get him at the 46.
When you're seeing the pass rush on the second play of the drive, they dial it up. Look at the speed and athleticism this defense has as they corral the quarterback for a loss.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. From the gun to give, looking for room. They stop him short, and we'll have a big fourth down coming. Quick timeout by the defense there, trying to make sure everyone has the same call. A fairly short distance here toward the sidelines, not his best work. Looking to throw on first down. Fires to the big fella. Brought down at the 31. It is a first down. Last completion moved the sticks, and let's see if they try it again. The offense calls timeout, and they won't have any more left this half. Then they'll line up from the 31 on first down. Looking downfield on first down. Just had to get rid of that one. Good job to fight another play. They're dealing with a second and long. Couldn't connect on first down. Now back to the air. He's run out of bounds and didn't gain an inch on the play. Time dwindling away as they try to put points on the board right before the half. To the ground with the back. They make the tackle at the 36. Let's see if they bring out the punt team. The Horned Frogs will punt it away on fourth down. That's going to wrap up the first half here, and now we join Kevin with the halftime update.
Fellas, you've been calling a first-rate game so far today in Fort Worth. And yes, football is a game of inches, but man, is that really the case when you consider the length of some of these possessions. Look, I'm not an analytics guy, but I do know this. The team that sustains drives and just moves the sticks might be the team that comes out on top today. With that said, let's send it back to the guys at Amon G. Carter Stadium.
Just about set to start the second half. Houston will kick it away. And he'll bring it back. And the returner could find no daylight. He goes down. TCU has it back, and the Horned Frogs go on offense. And points have been hard to come by in this one. They'll try to put together a drive. He stopped behind the line of scrimmage. He reached into his bag for that move, and it didn't get him loose at all. Wants to fire on second down. Throws to the wideout. Working the middle. Finally corralled, but not before. He picked up the first down. And the Horned Frogs headed quickly to the line.
And I don't know if this defense knows what just hit them, because they gave up the completion, they gave up a first down, and now here's the offense back up at the line of scrimmage again, going tempo.
I like the decision by the quarterback here. Just get the ball out of your hands, get it to your playmaker. A lot of times he'll dance and make even bigger plays than he did here, but it was still a positive game.
And he'll be tackled, but there is a flag on the field.
Illegal blocking. Offense.
The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. Offense gets set for second down. And it'll be incomplete. This defense is physical in pass deep. They've got to come up with a big play on this third and long. They'll go to the air. Unloads to the wideout. Complete downfield. Good job running that route to get past the sticks, because he got nothing after the catch. Rides the back and leaves it on the option. And they'll stop him just short of the first down, just inches away from moving the sticks. They'll run it from the gun. Turning it on. They make the stop, and he'll have enough yardage for a first down. The Horned Frogs come to the line with a new set of downs. Wants to go up top on first down. Quickly complete. And not much doing there as that defense runs him out of bounds. Plenty of work to do here on second and long. Back to pass. Oh, they're after him. Caught behind the line. It's Ben. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Now facing a third and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Finds a spot in the middle. Now he's got it all the way down to the 21-yard line, and they are threatening on first down. Wants to throw again. Grabbed behind the line. It's Terrell. Got some room, headed to the goal line. Touchdown, TCU. Made the grab and then did the rest himself, and they put points on the board. Backed up in the shadow of their own goalpost, no problem.
When you start in the black zone inside your own 20 coming out, it's difficult. You can give up a safety. You get worried about that. The offense puts a great drive together. Great job executing. Great job getting a touchdown.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And with the extra point, they're now up by a touchdown and a field goal at 10. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Guys, wanted to give you a quick update on a game happening in the Big Ten. UCLA is in the unusual position of having to come from behind right now, but there's not a soul who doesn't believe they can't pull this off. It's a touchdown game. They're trailing by 7 to Stanford. It's an outcome that, if it holds, will have Big Ten fans buzzing all week. Guys, pass.
And how about that one? Devin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere.
I suspect we can see that same exact play. They make it look really easy, running the option down the line of scrimmage, QB making good decisions and keeping them in good second down situations.
Now from the 36-yard line, it's 1st and 10. They'll run it out of the shotgun. Creates a little space. They'll get it to the 48. No need to measure. It's a 1st down. The Cougars want to pick up the tempo.
Defense gives up the pretty big run. They get the 1st down. And listen, you got to reload quick now because this offense, they got their foot on the accelerator.
And they'll stop him after a minimal pickup. Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on 2nd down. They'll run the option. He'll toss it. And the 4th option there is to throw it in reverse, and that's what happened on that one. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. 3rd down, and this offense is already in a world of trouble. They could really use a conversion, not to mention multiple scores. Lofts one deep down the right side. Oh, he dropped it. That deep ball was right on the money. You just have to make that catch. Houston will be forced to punt. They're up to a half dozen kicks today. Catch is made at the 15. They'll put that return to a stop at the 33, but the offense set up in pretty good field position. Got it behind the line. It's Ben. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. They'll run play action. Quickly to the tight end. And they pick up just a few on that completion. Passing game very effective on 2nd down. What about here on 3rd? From the gun, wants to pass. Fires to the middle. Tight end getting vertical. And how about that? What the doctor always ordered. An explosive play to the 40. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. This offense is like running a perfection drill in practice against air. Chunk play after chunk play, and here they come again. Sets up the screen. Each brought down, but he went backwards after that completion, not the way they had it drawn up. Off the RPO, complete. Knocked down at the 29-yard line. Picked up 15 yards on the play, and he's got a 1st down. To the air on 1st down. Just a short pass to the tight end. And he's brought down after a nice gain. And the Horned Frogs will have it 1st and 10. Use the play fake, now to throw. He just missed the target on that one. Got to put it on his body. Backed up now, here's 2nd and long. Off the play fake. Pocket breaking down. Quarterback feeling the pressure, and down he goes at the 22.
This defense, they are tenacious, and they've got guys up front that are athletic and that are so strong and then can collapse the pocket. You saw it right there in that play-action attempt.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, hoping to throw beyond the sticks. Not a whole lot of room there on that screen pass as it just never developed. They'll have to settle for a field goal attempt. And remember, he's already had one blocked in this game. Splits the uprights right down the middle. And now the lead is even bigger.
And you want a touchdown and you want to be aggressive, but man, right down the middle, that obviously gives me some confidence down the road that I can trust this guy.
So after the last drive ended with a field goal, the kickoff team out there to send it away. He'll start the return inside his 5. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. And they'll get off one more play before the end of the quarter. With jet sweep pass. There he goes. Made a defender miss. A huge pickup on this play. They finally get him out of bounds, and that is some kind of way to wrap up the third quarter. That's the end of the quarter, and TCU has the lead. And as we switch ends of the field, let's take a quick look at the national rankings. One more period to go to see who can make the winning plays and come home with the victory. They'll go back to work with a first down in the final period. Motion from the wide receiver. Grab behind the line. It's Teray. Stopped after a good pickup, and he'll be just a tad short of the first down. The Cougars with a second and short to keep this drive moving. Oh, he's got a chance. Brought down at the 32-yard line. Picks up 15 yards on the play and an important first down. Use the play fake. Now to throw. He'll get rid of it. They've avoided the interception all day, but they were lucky to get that one back here late. It'll be second down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. They'll go to work in the air on second down. Catch in the middle. It's Teray. And a nice grab with a defender right on him, and he's down at the 20. On the option. Noses his way forward, maybe gets one. They'll mark it at the 18. Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on second down. The option look. Wrestled down at the 8-yard line as they threaten deep in the red zone. First and goal, and this feels like their chance to make a game of it. Here comes the option. Stopped in the backfield. He's going to lose 3 yards on the play. Defense rolls up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a second and long coming. And he tried to string out that run, but there was nowhere to turn it upfield, and he's forced out of bounds for a loss. On third and long, no secret what he needs here. And here comes the heat, and they get home, and they get him at the 21.
On third and long, you know what's coming. That's exactly where you want to get an offense. The passing game has to come out. You go nickel, bring some more speed on the field, and the defensive line gets home and gets the sack to force the fourth down.
A field goal does not top the list of most helpful things at this juncture, so they'll go for it on fourth down. They want to throw it. Lets it fly deep downfield. Touchdown, Houston. Hello. Made the grab in the end zone for the score.
Man, what a backbreaker for this defense. You do such a good job backing them up, making it fourth and goal, making it a long situation, and the offense comes through with the touchdown pass. That's just heartbreaking for this defense.
They'll try to tack one more on their score. And it's up and good as they draw just a touch closer. They're coming out to tee it up for the kickoff, and that last score was a real buzzkill for this crowd. And he takes this from inside the 5. Just never had a chance to shake loose, and he'll be brought down at the 24. TCU will send its offense back onto the field. And now that cushion is a little bit smaller, Jesse, and any mistake will get magnified.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure now on this offense too, David. I think they got to go back to their playmakers and get these guys going in the game.
No doubt. Find those plays you know you can run them in your sleep. You make sure you execute. Build this lead a little bit bigger. Put this thing away in the fourth quarter.
Working well behind the sticks on second down. Now the play fake. All kinds of room to throw that one in there. They've got it to the 49-yard line, and they'll move the chains. Rides the back and leaves it. This freshman makes the stop after a short gain, after picking up a couple at 2nd and 8. Smart move to keep it on the ground. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield.
Third down coming up.
On third down, he drops the throw. Really putting together a threat now. They get the first. It's at the 37. The Horned Frogs come to the line with a fresh set of downs. The give to the running back from the shotgun. Defense uses a timeout quickly, trying to get that ball back and preserve time for their offense. Got stuffed on first down. It's 2nd and 10. Quick release on the RPO. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground to cover to pick up the first. That throw and catch, a really good example of why coaches don't want a quarterback to get stuck on a particular target, isn't it, David?
Yep, that's exactly right. Find the guy who's open, because you got so many guys that have so much speed that can do so much damage on the field. Find my matchup, get it to him, let him do the rest.
No mystery on that play. With the lead, we are going to run the ball. You know it's coming, and we are running right at you, right into the teeth of the defense, and they're still able to get a nice gain.
Pulled down after a nice run, and they're in the red zone at the 19. And the Horned Frogs with myriad options after that big pickup on first down. They'll move the tight end. He'll do it himself. Oh, he's got some space. He's dragged down at the 12 as they try to cash in on this red zone opportunity. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. The Horned Frogs back to the line on first down. Let's see if they keep leaning on this running game. He'll take it himself. And this one will be stopped for no gain. We'll head to the 2-minute timeout. Tight ball game here, and this offense will try to milk the clock. Going to work on second down, and the red zone is still some ground to cover to pick up that first down. Quarterback on the keeper. Got some room, headed to the goal line. They'll make the stop, but that first down ought to ice it, and they should be able to kneel this one out. And the quarterback takes a knee.
And after that negative play on offense with the lead late in the game, I think there's still ways that you can be creative and run the football, but not be so obvious. So zone read type plays, fake dives and pitches to the running back to get him outside, jet sweeps. You can find other ways to keep the clock moving, even though the defense knows you're going to run it.
Guys, I'm going to tell you, I just never saw this team falling into a 3-game losing streak. They are wounded, reeling, and they've had their confidence shaken.
It's been ugly. There's no other way to spin it. This is very ungood, not good. Got to find some way to get this turned around. Got to make more plays. This is something that's frustrating, but let's not let it define your dynasty, right? Fix it, get it back together, try to pull some wins, try to figure this thing out.
It's frustrating too, David, because this is a team that has a lot of talent. I think part of the problem these last couple of games now has been lack of effort. So if you're on the coaching staff, maybe you're ready to start giving new guys an opportunity to see the field and just see what they can do.
Thanks so much for spending some time with us. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.